Take a look at this office. There's no staff. There's no researchers. There's no bustling of activity whatsoever. Just a silent room. But according to the government's ledger, this empty office space is worth $30 million of your money. The major story of 2026 is going to be independent content creators. We are the media now. While Canadians are struggling to pay rent, independent journalists just uncovered a paper trail leading to a ghost office. It's a scandal that rivals the massive fraud we saw in Minnesota. But this time, it's happening right here in Canada. And while our tax dollars vanish into thin air, the political class is patting themselves on the back. Today, we're going to expose this empty office that leads to a $30 million question and the ultimate betrayal from a former conservative leader, Aaron O'Toole. We got much more. Let's get into this report. We're going to start today's episode off with independent content creators are the media now.
A lot has changed since the first person sat in this chair, but for me, the biggest difference is people do not trust us like they used to. And it's not just us, it's all of legacy media. And I get it. I get it because I've been hearing about it from just about everybody for more than 20 years as I've traveled America on this assignment or that. My mom's neighbors in West Virginia, my own neighbors in New York City, thousands and thousands of conversations in between. Sometimes people want to talk to me about our coverage of NAFTA or the Iraq War. Other times it's all about Hillary Clinton's emails or Russiagate. Or more recently, COVID lockdowns, Hunter Biden's laptop, or the president's fitness for office. The point is, on too many stories, the press has missed the story, because we've taken into account the perspective of advocates and not the average American. Or we put too much weight in the analysis of academics or elites and not enough on you. And I know this because at certain points, I have been you. I have felt this way too. I felt like what I was seeing and hearing on the news didn't reflect what I was seeing and hearing in my own life, and that the most urgent questions simply weren't being asked. So here's my promise to you, today and every time you see me in this chair. You come first, not advertisers, not politicians, not corporate interests. And yes, that does include the corporate owners of CBS. I report for you, which means I tell you what I know, when I know it, and how I know it. And when I get it wrong, I'll tell you that too. It also means I'm going to talk to everybody and hold everyone in public life to the very same standard. After all, I became a journalist to talk to people. I love talking to people about what works in this country, what doesn't, and not only what should change, but the good ideas that should never change. I think telling the truth is one of them. I'm Tony DeCopel, the anchor of the CBS Evening News. Hold me to it.
Good for him coming out and saying that. But it's a little too late, and I guarantee you, we're not going to hear any of that from our mainstream media in Canada. But the same is true. The media across North America is dying. Let's start off with this. Nick Shirley is a YouTuber, and all he has is a cell phone, and he broke a story. This story in Minnesota with this childcare fraud has gone super parabolic. Let's take a look at this small clip, and then I'm going to show you how parabolic this entire thing has gone.
Here in Minnesota, massive fraud is taking place within the government and the Somali population. Here, this building alone, Quality Learning Center, is a daycare, yet they spelled learning wrong, and they said leering. This daycare alone in 2025 has received $1.9 million from the government. And the strange things about these childcare centers is There's no one here right now. It's midday on a weekday. And if you were to try to go inside, it's completely closed and the windows are all blacked out. No one's working, midday. Children should be in here. And this place is licensed for 99 children. And this is the outside. There's no windows, no nothing. And like I said, they literally spelt the word wrong on their sign. This is open and blatant fraud taking place here inside of Minnesota. The government is complicit with this, and this is just one of the hundreds of child daycare centers here inside of Minneapolis being ran by the Somali population. It's sad that it's happening here in Minnesota, and it stinks that it's happening and it's being labeled on the Somali population. However, that's just the facts of what's happening here inside of Minnesota. $1.9 million for this daycare center that can't even spell learning right.
It's unbelievable. This YouTuber with a cell phone, no special equipment, no funding whatsoever, just went and broke a story as an independent journalist, got 135 million views on his report. It's been shared across the globe. Just one independent journalist. Now the story is actually making a difference. They're shutting down this massive fraud, which has uncovered $9 billion that is going towards these fraudulent childcare centers. Why am I showing you Nick Shirley? Well, we have our own independent content creators and journalists across Canada. For example, one of our independent journalists has discovered a Canadian Climate Institute, which is getting $30 million for an empty office. That's right. And this is rather concerning, considering that Mark Carney says that Justin Trudeau blew $200 billion on a failed climate strategy. And attached to that article I just showed you, we have the independent content creator Tangible Foot Dailies that got nearly 400,000 views for their documentation that perhaps nothing is getting done because the federally funded Canadian Climate Institute is run out of an office 12 by 14 feet in downtown Toronto with 0 employees working at 2:30 in the afternoon. I verified this address personally.
1,600 per month, that sounds about right. Yeah.
There's no one inside the office midday. $30 million is getting run out of this empty office.
This is really nice. And how much would these spaces?
Unbelievable. And that's why someone with just a cell phone and receipts can actually discover fraud in plain sight. And if you haven't met Andy Lee, she does incredible investigative journalism. She writes on Tangible Foot Daily's post. If you haven't met Michelle yet, she's the one that undertook a volunteer mission to find the Canadian Climate Institute for us, a place which received $30 million grant. We only found an empty office. Give her a follow, folks. And we're not going to see this type of journalism with Global News, CBC, or any of the mainstream media across Canada because they don't report the actual news. They just speak on behalf of the government's talking points. And while we're at it, Andy Lee then found cost to taxpayers $9.9 million for an Egypt Green Skills for a Climate-Smart Agribusiness Network, improving the employability of young women and men in agribusiness sector by increasing their capacity to gain climate smart skills in Egypt. This is why we can't have nice things in Canada. I believe this is just the beginning, Canada. That's why I'm showing you this story. Independent journalism across this country are going to discover a whole lot more of this. And when it goes parabolic, this is what's going to create the mass awakening event in this country. It's time to take back control of our destiny. Now, this brings me to Aaron O'Toole, former conservative leader. He actually posted his year-end advice to Prime Minister Mark Carney. It says, keep it up. Keep it up. Oh, what? Keep it up. This is unbelievable. I cannot believe that he said, keep it up. I made a comment on Aaron O'Toole's post, and after my comment, he actually decided to follow me. Yeah, he follows me. I haven't followed him back, as you can see right there. And now let's take a look at who posted underneath Aaron O'Toole. Moose on the Loose says, O'Toole, you are a traitor. That is all I have to say. And he provided, Moose on the Loose provided Carney's conflicts of interest list so that Aaron O'Toole could take a look. How could you be supporting Mark Carney and saying, keep it up? Keep it up? Keep what up? The conflicts of interest? So yeah, Aaron O'Toole actually responded to Moose on the Loose, and he wrote, the wildest and often the dumbest comments always come from an anonymous account. An anonymous account. Can you believe this, Canada? Moose on the Loose is anonymous now. Your sheet also reads like someone who knows how to use ChatGPT, but has zero clue about any of the issues. Be better in 2026, Moose. I don't know about you, but for a conservative leader, previous leader, he should definitely know who Moose on the Loose is. And let's read Moose on the Loose response to Aaron O'Toole. Aaron, your reply is beyond stupid. First of all, if you spent 2 seconds to look me up, you'd realize I spent 8 years researching and making videos on 900 global topics before making political videos, and of which I have over 1,200 of them. You think that I don't know about issues? If you are smart, why did you lose against Trudeau? I have accurately predicted things over and over. Carney being heavily invested in America, Stripe being one of his biggest holdings, everything being pushed towards carbon credit, etc. You only replied that because you have nothing to criticize about. If you did, and it was valid, I'd update it. You are a liberal shill. And I want to show you this. Moose on the Loose provided this chart. Independent media views totals versus mainstream media views. The number one is Moose on the Loose with 72.6 million views on 1,362 videos in the last 365 days. That is incredible because CBC News gets $1.4 billion from the government, and Moose on the Loose has 72 million views. And CBC has 539 million, but they published 42,459 videos in the last year. And you can move down the list, check out all of the content creators across Canada. You can see plebs down here. I would actually be on this list, but I started my account April 1st of last year. So in only 9 months, I have 7.6 million views. And I'm sure this year I'm going to absolutely crush it, and I'm going to make this list. And Aaron O'Toole actually responded to Moose on the Loose again to his chart. He wrote, algorithms let people believe everyone knows their work, when in reality, it is a large echo chamber. Echo chamber. The chart is laughable given the timeline of most things on it. Happy to discuss with you if you want. The use of word traitor also shows immaturity. Be better, David Moose. Well, there's the thing, is that Aaron did not look at any of the conflicts of interest on David's chart. He just looked at it and thinks that David, Moose on the Loose, has no idea what he's talking about. Here's what I wrote to Aaron. I said, Aaron, Moose is one of the best investigative journalists in Canada. This makes you look bad. That's right. And actually, Aaron responded to my post and said, that's not the case at all. There's a good OSINT folks on X, but that chart is laughable. And then George Morris wrote, what makes it laughable is prove him wrong if he is. And Aaron O'Toole wrote, almost all of them are predate my time in politics, let alone who is PM today. Most were pushed by conservatives, with the SMRs and F-35s being an example. I was very much pushing. But listen, this is laughable because that means he did not take a look at the list. He didn't take a look at Moose's list because Moose is talking about Mark Carney, not Aaron O'Toole. Well, the internet has made its verdict. Aaron O'Toole, you are a D. And you're going to find this hilarious. You could find Aaron O'Toole over on Blue Sky, the most liberal platform on planet Earth. If you are anything but liberal, a strong liberal, you are not allowed to be on that platform. So it's so ironic that Aaron O'Toole is found on Blue Sky. You won't find me on Blue Sky or anybody else, because the second that I would go on Blue Sky, for example, Clyde Say Something went on Blue Sky and he lasted a week. He was banned and kicked off the platform because he asked questions. In there, it's a liberal cult on Blue Sky. The second you start questioning the narrative, they report you and you get totaled. I got some more news items before we end today's episode. Calum here posts, I've read enough conservative tweets to know I should be thanking Mark Carney for this. 99-cent gasoline. This post received 184,000 views. But here's the thing. You know, that's the thing with these liberals. They just don't know anything about economics. The gas price, global oil prices have been tanking, and it has nothing to do with Mark Carney. He did not tank oil prices across the globe. And so you can see the internet is definitely laughing at this tweet. They're thanking Mark Carney, but in reality, look, $7.1 billion the Liberals, Trudeau and Carney paid towards child benefits to non-Canadians since 2016. Oh, and let's not forget about the wonderful debt that they're giving, generational debt to our children. 131 billion Trudeau plan. That was his plan. And now 255 billion more in debt with Carney's plan, doubling. So Carney is 2 times worse than Justin Trudeau. Inflation is going to explode in Canada. Oh, and let's not forget that Mark Carney's record since becoming prime minister, we are the worst economy in the G7 by far. The US is rocking and we are straight up tanking. Oh, and let's not forget that the interest on the debt, our national debt, will reach $2,000 per Canadian this year. That means $2,000 that you earned is going to be paying for our national deficit. My number one concern this year is the explosion of the popularity of independent journalism and content creators across Canada and across the globe. We are becoming more popular, and that's why it is the Liberals' primary objective and top priority for 2026 to deal with Donald Trump and get this trade deal. No. Cost of living relief? No. Lower taxes? Absolutely not. Affordable food? Nope. Build 5 million homes? Nope. Criminalizing free speech? Yes. That is their top priority, and that tells you everything about 2026. If we don't have freedom of speech, we are finished as a country. There is no democracy if we do not have freedom of expression and freedom of speech. And how are they going to do that? Bill C9. So that is our primary objective this year, is to end and stop Bill C9. How are we going to do this? I know I've asked this before, but we need to get off the couch. And all you have to do is, and if you're going to do one thing, just click. It's just a couple clicks. You get off your couch, you click and press the send button. We need to send letters. I want to see 100,000 emails sent to the MPs across this country, because freedom is not free. Freedom of speech is not free. We need to fight for it. And how are we going to do that? I'm going to put a link to this website. You can find every single MP and their contact information across Canada. Just write your postal code and then you'll get your MP. I'm also going to draft a letter for you on Bill C9, and you just copy, paste, and send. If you're going to do one thing today, All I ask is send an email. Let's flood the box. We don't want Bill C9. No, thank you. Oh, and I'm going to take you to this website daily, Recall David Eby. There's a website called recalldavideb.ca. You go down here, 107 days until David Eby is recalled. And this website is updated. Check this out. David Eby on December 16th got 164 reviews, resulting in 2 stars. On December 17th, reviews were reduced to 89 reviews. 2.7 stars all of a sudden. Do you see how they're manipulating the data? Yeah, there's a lot more people that want to see David Eby go than stay. That's it for today's report. Oh man, I can't wait for 2026. This is the year where independent media and content creators across Canada rise up and do this mass awakening event where we take back control of our country. We get our freedom back, our freedom of speech back, and we go back to hope, where we can hope and dream for a better Canada, because that is what we deserve. And you are worth fighting for. And I'll keep delivering for all of you. I'll see you on the next report.